Yay. It's January 19th already. And we're a good way through January. Hard to believe that we've made it this far into 2024 already. But here we are. Welcome to the IT Hour. I'm Becky Scott, your host as usual. And we've got Urvashi, my co host, and our technical champion. Yes, her. Hello. Hi. And guess what? We've got Himanshu back again. Good to have you back on the IT Hour. Going to talk about Password Manager. It's been a while. Happy Friday, y'all. I see Isaac, first comment in before the lock, and Stuart in there. People are kind of quiet this morning, joining slowly, but that's all right. We are going to jump in and have a good time and let people join when they can. Sometimes Fridays all of a sudden get busy and you can't join when you want to. That's okay. We're going to truck along and you can catch up on the recording, or we always do a little chit chat. So it gives people time to come in and get comfortable, grab their coffee, all that stuff. But unfortunately, I'm out, and I didn't get my trusty Dr. Pepper either. It's also empty. So I'm SOL here, but that's all right.
Are you going to be okay?
I don't know. Maybe while Himanshu is presenting, I'll go off camera and sneak off and get a go to the fridge. I'll be Jeff. I don't know how I'm gonna survive. I already had my coffee, so I have my caffeine, but is it going to be enough? I guess we'll take a gamble, right? Good morning, Dean. Good morning, Jeff. Hey, Tad. I like Tad's just all stars. That's the swear words I say when I don't have enough caffeine. Brandy, welcome. Life is too short not to have coffee or some sort of caffeine of your choice. If you abstain from caffeine, well, I'm sorry. I can't help you there.
Who are those people that just like get through life without any aid from caffeinated substances? Like, was your childhood really stable growing up? Like, what's the secret?
I don't know, but I don't think I have any friends like that. I don't think we're compatible.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff here, the fancy oat milk hazelnut shaken espresso. Okay, okay.
Fancy. Stuart says coffee is my fuel injection. Oh, do you have like an IV or a port or something where you just inject it directly? I mean,
have you seen that now IVs are like with what's it called? All of the minerals and things for hangovers. That's a real thing. Like that's a service that people will show up. I saw it on a reality TV show. They'll show up with an IV and give you all your vitamins.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've seen people do it with even just like a saline solution with a bunch of stuff put in it, because it like rehydrates you and stuff, or oxygen treatments where they'll go and those are like the oxygen bars and stuff were like really trendy in California and probably New York too. Oh, Dean, you're right. Yes, Mormons. I had a friend who was dabbling in being a Mormon, like they were attending a Mormon church for a while, but the thing she could not do was give up the coffee. we would go to the grocery store and she would grab coffee and kind of like look for any of her church members who might be around and try to hide it. It was pretty funny.
I had some people show up at my door trying to convert me, and they were like, "Is there a man in the house?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "Okay, thank you, bye." And they just left. I was like, "Can I help you with something?" No, we're here to talk about God. And I was like, "Yeah, thank you. No man in the house. Looks like I'm not for you. You're not for me."
Oh, Isaac does not drink coffee. Okay, well, hopefully you are able to have some other vices that kind of
Hang on.
fill in for that.
Hold the phone. Himanshu, explain.
So that's like one of my favorite drink. Like I drink like at least 2 cups a day because I'm lactose intolerant, so I don't drink milk. The only option I have is oat milk. But then the espresso with tonic water is something I tried it 4 or 5 years back at one of the coffee shop. But what I have seen now, anywhere I travel, there are a lot more and more coffee shops which have start having this espresso with tonic water, adding all different flavors there. But I would highly recommend whoever likes coffee, they must try that.
So I have a bunch of I think it's the glass bottles. I think it's what, El Chico or something, the fizzy water. Topo Chico. Thank you. Thank you. It was going down my brain for a moment. I put a bunch in my fridge and I put them too far in the back and one of them froze and exploded. So I've been kind of I haven't drank as many as I need to. I've still got a full drawer of them. But that sounds interesting. I used to work in an office where they had sparkling water on tap, and it was
Wow.
amazing. I loved it. But yeah,
Yeah.
forget about Password Manager. Let's just talk about this. Um, so Isaac said instead Dr. Pepper. All right, Isaac. Now you're talking. Now you're talking. Dr. Pepper is
As
I
long as
drink
we can
the
all find some common ground.
yes. We have many conversations about Dr. Pepper here because I drink cherry zero, so we're all right. But fizzy coffee, Jeff says, I agree. You know, that sounds really intriguing. And but do you drink it cold or warm?
It's cold, so it's going to be like iced one with the tonic water. But I believe you're talking about Topo Chico, that's a sparkling water. So
Might
that
be a
may
little
not,
different.
yeah, it tastes different. I have tried that as well
Mhm.
because I'm a coffee holic person. I have my own espresso machine with all different stuff. I drive around the small coffee places or coffee roasteries to get the beans. I have taken a classes where how to roast the beans and everything. So yeah,
Oh, very serious. I do actually have some tonic water. I drink diet tonic water, so I have some of that too. So I may have to try that. Speaking of coffee and roasters, counterculture is a big one throughout. Well, this area in particular, but it's in a lot of grocery stores, and they're actually local to me. Their headquarters is so. I've taken some classes with them, but not the roasting part, just the how to make a good espresso. So, I might have to watch out for some roasting classes. I've been to another roaster where they showed us how they did it, and that was pretty neat. That was out in California. Okay, anyway, Leo says, "Hi, Himanshu, you're looking sharp." So, there we go.
I have
James.
one last one to share before we get into Password Manager. Stuart said, "How are coffee beans like teenagers? They're always getting grounded." But it's that's
Absolutely.
amazing.
Oh, Stuart, I drink so much coffee at work, I consider it part of my daily grind.
But it's
Yep. But all right.
Stuart needs to
Oh,
file that joke in a database.
we got some more people coming in. I see Carol and Kelly snuck in too, and Stephen. So, password manager. All right. We get the hint. Got a lot of the comments finally took off. We were worried that everybody was so quiet and no, not a lot of talking, but here we go. Everybody has had their coffee at this point, so we're on a roll. All right. Well, I guess we've filled enough that we don't need to talk about our weekends and stuff. We can maybe do that later. So, password manager, Mr. Password Manager, tell us. I guess it's time to start talking about what's going on and what's new. It's been a while, so I think there are quite a few things that are new and going on, right?
yeah.
Lots of stuff.
All right, so let me share my screen. And first, I will go over couple of slides, and then there's going to be a live demo and recorded demo as well. Okay, so today we are going to talk about our Password Manager extension 2.0, which will go GA first week of February. You guys will see a complete new user experience, the login experience, editing stuff, and settings as well. And then we made a lot of improvement into our folder structure. So today's agenda is, first I'm going to talk about the shared folders. Then we introduced a personal folders into our password manager. So now you will be able to create a multiple personal folders. And then at the last, password manager extension. So what exactly the shared folder permissions are? For now, there were a lot of customers who was keep asking for that, by default, you can create shared folder and you can share with anyone within the company. If you are one of those administrators who want to have a control over security and ensure that there are specific group of users or a specific users in the organization who can create a shared folder and share with the team members for a better security purposes, for better access controls. Now you will have an option available on admin portal where you can go and specify which user or user group can create shared folder, and then you can assign them to whomever you want to share with them. The next slide I'm going to cover is about the personal folder. So in order to have a better organization, better categorizing your stuff, for example, you have one folder which is all about accounts related to your work, accounts related to your social media or your Netflix and other stuff, other streaming vendors. So you can categorize them all together. And another thing, if you are one of those IT administrator who's managing the password manager or shared folders for other team members in the company, now what you can do, you can create a personal folder and manage whichever account or website you want to add. So you can take your own time, prepare the whole folder, and then after that, you can switch that to share with the team member rather than creating a shared folder and changing things while the folder is already shared with the people. So that's where, the people who are receiving these accounts, they don't get confused because one day they see there are 10 accounts in the folder. Then next day they say, wow, why all of a sudden it's just 15 or 5 accounts from 10? And then there's a lot of question and concern raised on that. So I will demonstrate that as well, how to create these folders and the settings. And now our browser extension 2.0. So as most of us already know, you guys have already tried our browser extension. So one of the main pain point we have with our current browser extension is adding a new account is confusing and time consuming. That every time you want to add something into Password Manager, after logging into the account, you have to click on the extension, click on the review button, and then you have to go through 4 different steps in order to complete enrolling account in the Password Manager. Now we reduce this 4 step into 1 step only. Then there was no clear option available how to exclude site. For example, if I'm logging into one particular site which I do not want to save in Password Manager, and every time I go there, they keep asking me, do you want to save this in Password Manager or not? So that's becoming really irritating for you, that why, if I said no one time, why does it keep coming back and back again? Then the next issue we have, which is a very common one, a multiple account for one specific website. So it is very common that, especially for an IT administrator, to have a multiple account for one login page or one login domain. And that's where every time you have to scroll up and down and read through each and every account and make sure that you know what exactly happening there. Now we make that life easy, where we will remember the last used credential, so that when next time you try to log in, you will have the last used credential on top of it. So it's kind of helps you that, okay, this is the account, do you want to use or not? And then at the last, there was no visibility which folder the account belongs to. So I will go over each and every settings and the step of our browser extension, which will talk about how the new user experience is going to be. So this is something how a new extension is going to look. So we added a new way of logging into account. While logging into the account, you will have an option to add account there. Now you will have option to exclude the particular website. So if you're logging into the site for the first time, we will give you an option. Do you want this to remember in Password Manager or not? If you click on the exclude website, then we will never ask you again until you go back and remove that from the exclusion list. We implemented a global search. So with the new extension, now when you try to search particular account on the extension, it will look through all the folders, all the items. With our existing extension, it only looks for the specific item which you have selected or the folder you have selected. And then we also improved the whole navigation of the browser extension as well. And now the next part, which is I'm going to go directly to the demo. So here is.
Himanshu, before you do the demo, can you say again when the new extension is coming?
It's the first week of February.
Perfect. Stuart had asked that. So first week of February, Stuart. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to just log into one of my account here. So as you see, today, anybody in the organization can go and create a folder. And there is an option available if I want to create a personal folder or a shared folder. If I want to create a personal folder, I will just say and click save. Now, if you in the past, we always have this default personal folder. Now there are multiple folders which I can do, and I can move around accounts there how I want. And then later on, once I have all the accounts available, there's an option there. I will convert this shared folder to the shared folder. Once I converted it, now you will see this folder is available under shared folder, and I can edit them by the description, the name, or assign the user to them or a user group. Now, when I click on the folder, as you see, there are two options available for me because on the organization level, we allow everyone to create a shared folder. This is the default option available for everyone today. If you're one of those administrators who want to make sure that only specific group of users or the users are able to create shared folder, then you can configure here. So for example, I configure Himanshu here, and now the David user who has logged into this application, when David tried to create a folder, now the shared folder option is going to be disabled for them. So the only thing David can do can create a personal folder, and for their better organization or the category to have a better category for different use cases. Other than that, you won't be able to create a shared folder there. And now I'm going to go back and talk about our browser extension. So this is how our new browser extension look here. We have this new flow where right now I'm on a JumpCloud website. That's why it automatically select the matching item related to this one particular website here. Now you see all these accounts what I have for JumpCloud. If I go to, let's say, if I go to a Google or for example, I will just go to my, let me just cancel this, my Jira board there, right? And then click there. So it will tells me all the items because this particular site account I haven't enrolled in the password manager yet. That's why you're able to see all the items here. But as soon as I move to any particular website which has an account available, it will automatically select matching item to make your life easy. Now, every time when you're on a particular website, you don't have to scroll up and down or search for an item which you are looking for, because our extension is smart enough to tell you these are the items available. Do you want to fill in one of these account in this website or not? I will go back, and another thing, and you can change this if you want. You can say the most recently used. So it will tell you all the most recent used accounts you have here. Or if you want to see all the items there. In the past, when we have all item, it only show you item which are in your default personal folder. But now you see this small folder icon here. So this is showing you all the items, doesn't matter it exists in your default folder or in a shared folder. So that you don't have to every time go and click additionally, look into different folders there. Now, another thing what you can do, there is a setting which is I would say on global level for your particular system. But on top of that, if you want to have a particular setting just only for Gmail's login page, you can click on the item setting and you can enable and disable whatever settings you want, so that every time when you go to Gmail login page, this behavior is going to be only for that specific page, rather than having it every time you are logging into all different pages there. So now we have this whole new way of opening the setting page. You can import file. What's new link here? Once you click on it, it will redirect you to the release note page, the support channel, and the sync to the host. Once you click, it just makes sure that your extension is in sync with your desktop app. And at the last, when you click on lock extension, so you just locked it. And in order to unlock, you will use your Touch ID or Windows Hello to authenticate there. Then another thing which is about disable extension on this URL. So if I select this, what it's going to do, when next time I come to login page for the JumpCloud, it will just you will not see a password manager there. The way to enable it back, when you go to this particular site, you need to click on enable extension on this URL, and it will just enable it. Now, this is our settings for new extension. So basically, by default, we have this enabled, which will make JumpCloud as your default password manager vault on the browser. And you can enable or disable however you want. That's by default, it's disabled, which is about it automatically logs you in if you want to visit a website with the login form. So in this case, I will just keep it enabled. Auto submit is there. And if you have excluded some website, so in the past, what happened, if I select that password manager, JumpCloud Password Manager should not remember a credential for this website, or every time when I come, it should not keep asking me to keep adding it. There's no way to recover your account from that website. So now if you have any website in that exclusion list, you can click on view and you can remove that from there. So icon offset, this is something, if there are more than one icons on specific website, so you can reduce the sizing, the pixel of the icon, which you see on the login page, which looks something. I can just log out from here. I'm talking about this icon here. So that is something based on what configuration you want, you can configure that. And then the exact domain only. So this is when by default it is disabled. So you can enable this, because when you're trying to autofill the credential for the particular website, then the password manager dropdown will only show you the item that exactly match with this current page here. So I can give you an example here. As you see, I have all this list of account here for this login page, because some of these accounts exist in admin login portal, some of them exist in the user login portal there. Now, if I go to this particular JumpCloud and I say in the item that, hey, I want the exact domain only enabled. Now what happened that if let me refresh this page. Now when I click on it, as you see, instead of showing me the 8 different items, now it only shows me these 3, because these 3 only belong to the admin portal login page. So I'm going to go back and disable this. And so this is something I did on item level, but if you want, you can have it as a global setting for your account. And then this will autofill the matching password to the current website. So this is by default, it's on because you want the whole auto login experience to be there. Then security related autofill, disable 2FA notification. So you can enable and disable that. And now the new thing we added here is the download log. So anytime if there isn't any issue you are experiencing with the extension, you are on a call with the JumpCloud support team, there's an easy button there, just click on it, it will download, and you will have the log file there. And you can add a passwords here as well. And so once you click on it, so it automatically detect which website you are looking for. You can select which folder you want to save this in, and you need to define the nickname, the username, and the password of this thing. Now, the next thing which I'm going to talk about in this video is, while you are creating an account, how our password manager extension is going to help you. So here for this booking.com, I click on register account because I don't have an account for this. And once I enter my email address, now next thing what it does, it automatically redirect me to the page where I need to create a password. And now our password manager extension is smart enough, which will detect that user is trying to either create a password or reset or update a password. And that's where our password generator pop-up will come, and it will help you to create a complex password. So this is a 16 or 20 character password with all different combination, because as a human, it's not easy to remember, but our extension is going to provide you this information. You click on fill in form, it will automatically fill in, and you create the password there. Now that's where from day one, as a user, when you're creating a 20 or 24 character of password, you won't be able to remember. You don't have to copy and paste anything, because our extension is going to give you an option. It automatically save in the extension. Now, next time, anywhere you try to authenticate, if you have a mobile app or you have a paired devices, our extension is going to autofill that bigger length password or the secure password for you. Now, in the past, this experience wasn't there. You have to manually copy and paste. That copy paste is gone. And now we have this pop-up which is asking you, do you want to add this into password manager? You have created a stronger password, but still this account doesn't exist in password manager. You can click on add, which will add. You can ignore it. With the ignore, what will happen when next time you try to log in, we will again ask you, do you want to save in password manager or not? Then there is an option which will say exclude website. So if you click on it, it will get excluded from the whole account. So I click add. And now next time when I try to log into this particular website, this account exists right there. So this is one of the major change we did in our product here, because you have to go through a lot of different steps, and you have to do manually copy, paste, and remember and make sure if it gets saved or not. If it doesn't get saved, you lose the 24 character of password, then you have to reset your password again. Now, everything happen in one flow while you are logging into the website or while you're creating or updating your password on the particular website there. And then other than that, so if you just want, this option is available here as well. And our password generator tool is going to be smart enough. So if I change that to the 31 character, next time if I go to any particular website, it will remember and it will show me 31 characters, whatever the last combination I have selected there. And you can refresh and regenerate based on whatever password you want to use there. And that's all I have for the browser extension.
All right. I think there's quite a few questions.
Oh, yeah, there are a ton. All right, let's start with Kelly's from a while back. Let's say a user creates a shared folder and that user leaves. When I deactivate or delete that user, what happens with that folder? In other words, will I get prompted to transfer ownership to someone else?
So in that case, what happened that as an administrator, you always have access to that folder permissions. So if the person left the company, you can log into admin portal, select the particular folder and change the ownership to a different user.
Now, is that after you've deleted the user?
Yes, so after you remove the user, yes.
Okay.
So it will look something like this. So even though the person has left, what I will do, I will click on the marketing or the demo test user folder. There is an option, user with the access. So I can change, assign it to different people, or you can assign different user group there. So if there are more than one user, which most of the user group has, you can just change the permission there. Or you can revoke the access for the particular user from here as well.
Okay, and a follow-up to that question from Jeff. Do personal folders get removed when an employee leaves, or do those become available to transfer?
Those are gone because those are personal folders. So if the employee leaves, you deactivate the account, and those accounts are gone. Yes.
Okay. There was a little bit of discussion in the comments about if there was a shared password or like an account password that should have been in a shared folder that wasn't. I guess that just is gone basically, right? Like they
Correct.
left it in a personal folder.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then from Mark, can a shared folder be unshared? And I believe if you just remove people from that shared folder, that'll basically unshare it, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And if you shared it with a group, then removing that group will unshare it as well, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So nothing has changed there in 2.0.
Yeah.
Okay. And Nathan joined a little late and asked, have there been improvements to organizing items? For instance, has drag and drop been added so you can simply drag things into folders? The move functionality has been clunky.
So that is something I believe you're talking about on the desktop app. So we are working on our desktop app version 2.0. It will take a couple of months, and you guys will see a complete new desktop app with the drag and drop, right click, selecting multiple items, moving things around, the whole creating a shared folder, because the only place you start creating shared folder from desktop app, the whole experience is going to be completely different. So we are working on that.
Urvashi, do you want to take a few of these?
Yes. You've marked the ones that have been answered, right? Just to make sure I'm
Yeah.
overlapping. Okay. So from Kelly, how do I show this? What is the invite setup process for a new user under 2.0?
So there's no, you're talking about invite process for shared folder. There is no change in that.
No, I think it's
so
just to invite someone to Password Manager as a new user. Like if you're maybe an
there's no
admin.
change in that. Yeah, so there's no change in that. So once you add a user group or into the password manager, all the users will receive an email where they can go and verify and download the desktop app and continue the whole onboarding experience there. There is a one update we did in the login experience, or I would say activation experience. In the past, there was a captcha where you have to click 10, 15 times on the image. And now we have completely removed that because we upgraded our captcha version. So you don't have to click on 10, 15 times on the image selecting the bike or bicycle.
Thank
All that
goodness.
thing.
I hate those.
That's gone. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, next one. When will passkey support be added? From Jeff.
It is in our backlog. We don't have any ETA for that yet, but definitely it's in our priority list.
Awesome. So coming soon. ETA is ETA. Yes. All right. I think this one was kind of answered in the chat by a couple of people, but does this password manager have something that other password managers like 1Password doesn't have?
So one of the biggest thing is this is a decentralized, right? So there is no insecurity of, people hacking into it or losing a master password, that if somebody get access to master password, then they can log in and get all your account information there. So there's no master password. This is decentralized, and this is like one of the main key feature there as an enterprise. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll do this one and then I'll pass it back to you, Becky. So this one is from Nathan. Presumably the list of excluded websites is available within the settings so that you can unexclude a website if necessary. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you for the question, Nathan. You want me to keep going, Becky, or back to you?
I was just trying to find my unmute, of course. All right, from Carol, do you plan on supporting command line utility for developers to autocomplete passwords through command line?
That is something that's a good feature to have. We don't have on the command line interface or password manager. It is in our backlog. We talk about it but yeah. But you can use this, as I said, this password generator tool available on desktop app and extension. You can copy paste and to the command line. But there is another feature which you want the password manager to support command line interface, so that all this experience what you see on the web will happen on the command line interface. That's in our backlog. So there's no ETA for that yet.
Thank you. All right. And to be able to programmatically via API update, add passwords and secrets to Password Manager, we have automations that do this primarily for dev stuff. So Nathan's wanting to see if we can do that.
Yeah. So Nathan, as of now, we don't have that. But there again, this is something we are working on it to having it as an API. So I would recommend if you can please submit a feature request for this. We'll definitely look into it.
And I think that actually came after James's, which is why it would have made more sense if I read this first. Is it a roadmap item to be able to store files in Password Manager, like login keys or secrets that need to be shared among a team?
Yes, it is on our roadmap item. In fact, not only just files, it's on a roadmap item where you should be able to create any custom item, based on your requirement. Yes. So this is something we are looking into it. SSH key, Wi-Fi password profiling, anything. You can customize the item based on your need. Yeah.
Gotcha. And Jeff has a couple of comments here. Let's see. JC Password Manager CLI would be awesome. I use 1Password CLI for handling SSH keys and API keys from the command line. And then he added PowerShell module for Password Manager would be great too. So Jeff,
Feature request.
I was just going to say that. Just going to say that. And here's another one from Ian. How about configuring Password Manager for things like the icon offset using the command line?
For basically, we have password icons, which you can change the icon sizing by clicking on this whole offset. But we don't have anything which we can do it from the command line.
Okay.
Feature request. I'm going to make this a thing now.
Yep. Have an automation that just puts it in the chat. Feature request. Or we need a where you make a gesture, and it pops activated up, and then it pops up with a little bubble over your head. That's what we'll do. I don't know how.
I'll figure it out.
And one more. Any plan on support for YubiKey with JumpCloud Password Manager instead of PIN?
There's no plan for the YubiKey as of now, but yes, we are working on to support a passkey as one of the credential instead of a PIN.
Urvashi, I think that's your cue.
Feature request. I think I saw one. I don't know if I zoned out or what, but there's somebody asked about a PowerShell module for Password Manager. Did we do that one? Did I mark it? Did I not? Who was saying? Yeah, Jeff was saying JC PowerShell module for Password Manager would be great. I think I tried to mark it.
I think I said that one after the CLI. So
okay.
Both side by side. Jeff says, every time Jeff makes a comment, it should auto reply with feature request. Instead, every Jeff comment gets automatically turned into a feature request. Oh.
For that, we will need a feature request.
But seriously, y'all, it helps us prioritize when you put in a feature request. And when multiple people do it, even though it sounds repetitive, they go into a system, and then we look at them by how many people have made that request. So it actually does help when more than one person puts it in. Now, I realize that isn't ideal for the time being, and I've been talking to the product team about other ways to do that, like just putting it in and then voting on it instead of having to repeat it, but we're not there yet. So for now, when multiple people put those in, yes, the voting system on feature requests, I'm aiming for that, Nathan. I would really like to see that happen. So in the meantime, though, putting those in as you think of them, and we'll keep working on the voting thing. I'm talking to our chief product officer and some of the other heads of product to figure out a way to do that prioritization. We can't quite tie it into our workflow right now, but we're looking at ways we can still do that so that y'all can see them and vote on them and even comment to say, I like this, but, or I like this, and how about this too? So Keith says the blind box of feature requests. Yeah, makes him sad. I totally get that, because you don't know what others are asking for, and maybe they have something that's really brilliant that you don't even know about, that you'd be like, oh my god, me too, if you just knew about it. So I totally get that. We're trying to figure out how to make that work for everyone. Jeff says Slack feature request channel, thumbs up.
Wait, can you
We're
read
trying.
the feature request behind you guys?
I
It's
saw
very-
that over your head, but yeah, the history limitation in Slack, and also we're trying to keep it to a minimum of the number of places the product managers have to monitor things and look for stuff, because we want to figure out a way to keep this in their workflow and keep it simple for them. So but in the community, there's definitely a longer history. So we're working on ways to make that possible. So stay tuned. I don't know if putting in a feature request about voting would help or not, since it's not directly related to the product. But we'll keep working on that. But thank you for the suggestions and for supporting that idea of, hey, let us vote. Kelly wants a sign for Urvashi to hold above her head. So I think you could make one of those. Get a little crafty.
When they come in between the rounds of boxing matches, just like,
Yeah, or put a little one on a stick that you could hold up above your head. It says, yeah. Jeff, I love Jeff's suggestion. You can channel your dad. Point to the sign.
don't tell me what to do, Jeff. Okay? I don't appreciate this. Urvishi's dad does what he wants when he wants to. Doesn't take feedback from people from the internet. Okay?
I know, Nathan, you're right. Every time it comes up, everyone says voting system, but I just have to convince the powers that be that in product that's what we need. So I will take that back to them. You almost made Jeff waste his coffee, Urvashi. So good job.
Hold on. I'm about to be back with the mustache.
Okay. Well, we were just getting ready to switch to the IT news. Actually, I forgot to do the community update. So while Urvashi is looking for the mustache, I will backtrack to the community update, because we got so busy talking about caffeine and coffee that we forgot. In the product discussions, Super Idle has a question about a PowerShell script that's failing to run. So if you wouldn't mind, if you are good with PowerShell scripts, maybe go take a look at that and see if you can help them. Sean has done a post in best practices about building a custom HRIS integration with Google Sheets. And Jurgen is back at it with a PowerShell script. If you're looking for how to scan for vulnerable applications, JC Get vulnerabilities for an installed application PowerShell script will help you do that. And we have a transcript up for the end of the year wrap up with Raj. So if you want to scan through that and see what we talked about, if you don't want to watch it or listen to it, you can scan the transcript. Again, we're trying to do this so you can search them and everything. Well, here we go. I don't know where Urvashi went, but it looks like now her dad is substituting for her for the IT news, I think.
My irresponsible daughter has decided to go out because it's Friday night. So I'm here
All
now.
right. Well, all right. One more thing under product releases and announcements. We said this last week, but don't forget, we're still looking for feedback on the Mac OS patch notification. That was a post by Tom. Of course, it'll be in the show notes. So please make sure you give some feedback. I see that someone did go ahead and give some feedback to Tom. So please do that. Carol says feature request more Urvashi's cat on the stream. I'm surprised my cat hasn't come in here and jumped on the back of my chair and scared me half to death, but she's doing something else right now.
He'll come back shortly. He's right here on the table.
Yeah. All right. It is now time for IT news. I wonder how Urvashi's dad is going to read this compared to how Urvashi normally does it.
1 second. Let me remove this cat from here. Excuse me, sir. Please, this is not the right time. Okay. IT news. I mean, for all those who are wondering, this is just my normal Indian accent. I like to fine tune it for an international audience otherwise, but I just have to drop it and I turn into my dad. Okay, news. Known indicators of compromise associated with Andro-Ghost malware, according to CISA. Andro-Ghost malware, which is spelled very interestingly with some digits in the middle. Andro-Ghost malware has been observed establishing a botnet for victim identification and exploitation in target networks, according to open source reporting. It is a Python scripted malware primarily used to target .env files that contain confidential information such as credentials for various high-profile applications, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Office 365, SendGrid, and Twilio from the Laravel Web Application Framework. Andro-Ghost malware also supports numerous functions capable of abusing SMTP, such as scanning and exploiting exposed credentials and APIs and web shell deployment. There will be a link in the, yes, you spelled, yeah, it's, is it Androx? Androx Ghost?
I
What
have
did
no
I say?
idea.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know if that's how it's pronounced or not. I'm playing the guessing game.
They spell it for SEO and then they leave us hanging like this. We will put the link in the show notes so you can please read it and fix your things. Himanshu is offended by my dad character, I think. Himanshu, sorry. He's left the chat. All right, the next one. Researcher uncovers one of the biggest password dumps in recent history. Get ready for these numbers, friends. Nearly 71 million unique credentials. Please note, unique credentials stolen for logging into websites such as Facebook, Roblox, eBay, and Yahoo have been circulating on the internet for at least 4 months, a researcher said on Wednesday. Troy Hunt, the operator of Have I Been Pwned, the website, said when a third of the email addresses have never been seen before, then it's statistically significant. So it's not just the usual collection of repurposed lists wrapped up with a big new bow and passed off as the next big thing. It's a significant volume of new data. When you look at the forum posts, the data and the data accompanied, the reason why becomes clear. It's from stealer logs, or in other words, malware that has been grabbing credentials from compromised machines. So everybody get on Have I Been Pwned and double check. Yeah, 71 million, Jeff. Did I offend Himanshu enough that he actually left?
No, I think he might have.
Sorry.
Oh no,
So
his Chrome crashed.
okay.
It's okay. It's not you.
I'm thankful for Chrome crashing. So yes, please get on Have I Been Pwned. I will put the link in the show notes also. It's a very useful website. And update your passwords, please. Thank you. Next up, Hamur vulnerability. New UEFI vulnerabilities send firmware devs industry-wide scrambling. From Ars Technica, the vulnerabilities, which collectively have been dubbed Pixie Fail, by the researchers who discovered them pose a threat mostly to public and private data centers and possibly other enterprise settings. So it's a good thing and a bad thing because it's like, excuse me, is somebody accusing me of being boring? I will set up some one-on-one time with you, Mr. Dean, to discuss the nature of your behavior in these public forums. Himanshu, have I offended you enough that you dropped off the call and then came back? No.
No,
Okay, correct answer.
no
Thank
problem.
you.
I mean, you have to answer to Urvashi's stern father.
Yeah,
Oh,
this was my Halloween costume because it's the scariest thing is an Indian dad. South Asian dad, actually. Okay, back to the news. People with even minimal access to such a network, say a paying customer, a low-level employee, or an attacker who has already gained limited entry, can exploit the vulnerabilities to infect connected devices with a malicious UEFI. Basically, because it happens before the operating system even loads, it's really hard to detect. But the good news is that for Pixie fail to be exploited, a feature called PXE must be turned on. And most people don't have it turned on. And it's generally only used in data centers and cloud environments for rebooting thousands or tens of thousands of servers. So good news and bad news, because if it does get in, then tens of thousands of servers are, going to have a problem. So the PXE feature must be configured and it should be used in combination with IPv6 routing. So hopefully it's not going to ruin the world, but stay tuned because we don't know. Okay. Now, in the latest of the nonsense news around artificial intelligence, there is yet another headline. New certification will determine whether a generative AI system is fairly trained. So now, like you've got your cage-free, open-range, farm-fed eggs and all this, like that, you can have AI models also, which are cage-free, farm-free, consent and all. Fairly trained exists to make it clear which companies take a more consent-based approach to training and are therefore treating creators more fairly. This is like cage-free eggs only, in my opinion. Explaining that it came into being after identifying the emerging divide between two types of generative AI companies, those who get consent and those who do not. So here's a new certification that people can get to mark organic, chemical-free, preservative-free consent. So that is also there. And lastly, this one is, I think it's quite cool, but I'm a very forward-thinking man, so maybe other people will not agree with me. But there is a new device called the Rabbit R1, which is an AI-powered gadget that can use your apps for you. So it doesn't just tell you the weather and what time it is and, when you should leave your house based on traffic and all. It actually does things. So it can go into your app and do things for you. So you can just say, I want to get a car, and it will go to Uber and request it. It'll obviously ask you to confirm things before it actually does it. But basically, you can take actions. So in spirit, it's an idea similar to Alexa or Google Assistant. Rabbit OS can control your music, order you a car, buy your groceries, send your messages, and more, all through a single interface. Now, all of these people who are on these dating apps, no, they can just set up one recurring this thing to just send, good morning, dear, how are you? Where is the authenticity? Will be lost with this feature. No balancing apps and logins, just ask for what you want and let the device deliver. The R1's on-screen interface will be a series of category-based cards for music or transportation or video chats. And the screen mostly exists so you can verify the model's output on your own. Keith, I can see your messages. Ma calls, Slack notifications from Urvashi has read and returned, it seems. All these people need a stern talking to, Miss Scott. I don't appreciate this. From where you have found these people?
You're reading, so you can't respond while you're reading. That's it. That's all it is.
Are you sure? I thought he is saying that if I send him message, he'll mark it as read. Figure out use case for R1. Let me tell you, when my mother wants to book an Uber, not my mother, sorry, my wife. When my wife wants to book an Uber, okay, there are too many apps for ride hailing. You have to open all the apps. And then it becomes an extreme sport trying to figure out who is going to arrive at your location, who will cancel at the last minute, etc. So if all of this can now be consolidated with one device. No, I had a mistaken moment, actually, Mr. Dean, because I am Urvashi's father, so wife, like that.
Have you ever heard the song "I'm My Own Grandpa"? It's an old
This is
country
song
song,
from
and it's really
Alabama, is
funny.
it? From Alabama, they made this song. They have complex relations, no, in
I
Alabama?
mean, Alabama, Arkansas, somewhere in that
That side
general
only.
area of the South.
They're all cousins
You're,
are marrying each other.
you are your own father. This is almost Star Wars. Maybe.
You know, my daughter keeps saying she is a firstborn daughter, so she is actually the man of the house. So it is all one and same.
Oh, now we're starting to talk about the southern states. Uh-oh.
My daughter lived in Georgia for many years. She did not marry any cousins, so it is not everybody who is there. Don't think like that. Don't think.
I've got so many jokes that I am not going to say right now because
Please teach
they're
such values to this audience also, no, Miss Scott? Please inculcate
they're
such
bound to
values.
offend someone. Trust me.
Inculcate such values of mental filtering to this audience.
They're funny. We have fun, so sorry. You probably should let Urvashi come back because she enjoys the
She's
jokes.
gone out Friday night, it seems.
Hmm.
I will inquire one second.
All right, y'all. We're a little past time.
Well, I was meaning to wax that anyway, but
It's got some serious adhesive on it.
oh. Anyway, it's not racist because I'm Indian, you guys.
All right. Well, we're a little bit past time, everyone. Thank you for hanging around and for enjoying the chat with us and everything. It's been great fun, and we appreciate you joining us every Friday. And Keith says, just got my submitted feature vote request in. Everyone do it and help us. So yes. Yes, these are always fun, Dean. And Kelly says, have a great weekend. We agree. We will see you next week, which I guess is already the last Friday of January. I don't know where the time goes, but we have fun every week with y'all. So thank you for joining us. Invite your friends, invite your colleagues. They can join the party. We don't mind. We hope you all have a good weekend. Stay warm in your areas. It's getting down into the teens here. I hope wherever you are, it's warmer than that. That's why I'm wearing the hat today. So, all right, y'all. We'll see you next
I'm
week.
going to a wedding, so I'm going to come back with statistics on how many people told me I gained weight and how many people have asked me when I'm getting married. So stay tuned for those stats.
Oh, that's right. And you will not be here next Friday because of said wedding. So we will see you in February. And Himanshu, thanks for joining us and giving us the update on Password Manager. Lots of great questions. Wow. So it was a good day. All right. Thanks, everyone. See you later. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.